I hate introductions, don't you? But it seems like they're always necessary. So here goes. I'm Ashley. I'm a wife, mom, pastor, and missionary's kid, which is double trouble if you didn't know. And if you're in this space, we're here to learn about who God is, who we are in Him, and how to do faith in the real, meaning the real messy. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the fact that my intro talks about this mess and inviting you into it. I do want to be open and I do want to invite you into my mess, not so that it makes anything of me, but so that you can see much of Christ and how He makes a difference in my life. Sometimes it's easier to share than others, and today is going to be one of those times that I struggle to share with you. Oh boy, here come the tears already. Actually, I talked to my husband. He was on lunch break. And he called and I said, it had been in my plan today to try to get an episode recorded, but that is not going to happen, I said. Today has been an awful day and there are several things going on that I'm really struggling with and I'm just not in the right frame of mind to record. But a friend and I were texting back and forth and she was asking how things are going and I was sharing my heart with her. And as I started sharing, I thought, no, today is the day to record because you need to probably hear what is on my heart and what God is showing me in that and in this space, just like I need to hear it. And so here we go. Here's more of the mess that I talked to you about. But I hope that at the end of this, you see how awesome our God is, even when we're struggling. I woke up this morning and my heart was really heavy. It was a long night. I went to bed with a lot weighing on my heart. A lot weighing on my mind. If you're listening, and you can't see me and there are long pauses in this episode, it's simply because I'm trying to be composed. I don't do very well with holding back tears sometimes. But my heart was very heavy. And I found myself tossing and turning quite a bit last night. And I woke up this morning and immediately my mind started circulating all these different things that seemed to be hitting and reaching the surface all at once. I can think of 4 different areas in my life right now that need addressed, things that are very difficult, things that are tender, things that are just going to be and are a real challenge to walk through. On top of that, today has just been a really challenging day as a mom and as a school teacher and just as a person. So all of this to kind of set the stage for I've not been in a good frame of mind today. But I woke up this morning and my brain was going 100 different directions and my heart felt so heavy. And I went in the restroom to get ready. And a conversation that I had with one of my sons earlier this week came to mind. He's been struggling with sleeping because he has all these different things that his mind is thinking about. He's very worried that he won't be able to sleep and he's having a hard time. And we had this conversation in which I shared with him how Jesus talks about worrying. How Jesus said not to worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. And as I was getting ready this morning, those words came out of my mouth, or that had come out of my mouth came to my mind. And so I stopped and I said, Lord, I'm worrying. I'm very anxious. I have a lot of anxiety, Lord. Help me to just be still today and to keep my eyes on you. finished getting ready. It was still early. The kids were still in their beds. So I went back to my bed and I opened a devotional that I've been working through. It's by Rebecca Lyons. I don't really know how you say her last name, but it's called A Surrendered Yes. If you're interested, I can get you the link, or you can find it on Amazon. But the way that this devotional came about, first of all, let me just tell you about this because it's really cool. Some of what I'm walking through right now, it has been going on for a while. And there have been many things for a long time that I feel have been, that add pressure, that add stress. And it's been challenging. And since we've started school, life has just been pretty crazy. I mean that in the sense of trying to find my footing, trying to find rhythm and get into the routine and figure out how to balance everything. And I'm behind on the podcast episodes that I enjoy listening to. And one of those podcasts is about personalities and differences in personalities. And I mean, I was at least 10 plus episodes behind. And so one afternoon I was folding laundry and I thought, I'm going to listen to an episode while I do this. So I pulled up the channel and I glanced through the options and I thought, whatever, I'm so behind, I'll just choose one. And I clicked on it. And I started listening, and the guest speaker that day was this Rebecca, and I've never heard of her. And I was listening to her share her story and share her heart, and I was just deeply resonating with the things that she was sharing. She was talking about surrender in the areas of our life that are very hard for us to accept when it comes to God's will. And I was relating a lot to what she was sharing, and she mentioned this devotional that was just being released, and quite impulsively I thought, I have to get it. And it came, and it's been so fascinating to go through this because, first of all, I think of all podcast episodes that I could have clicked on that day, you can't tell me that it was an accident that I clicked on that one that's so deeply cut to the core of my heart and was so relatable to where I was and where I am in this moment. But then the devotional came in the mail, and it has been incredible to go through it because it's been like every day in this devotional that leads me back to the Word has been a gift and the reminder that our God is a God who sees. He knows our hearts and He sees us. And He's given us His Word that speaks to us. So this morning, opened up the devotional and I thought, Lord, you know everything that's going on today, but I don't even know how anything could relate to what I'm going through right now. Like the odds of this devotional corresponding with what's going on in my personal life have to be slim to none. The verse for the day is from Matthew 6:33. But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. And I was like, I mean, when I'm thinking about personal stuff that's on my heart this morning, I'm not really sure how that applies. I know, seeking Him first always applies, but just hear me out. So I started reading the devotional, and it's all about being in a time of waiting, of waiting, because maybe God is asking you to let go of something, or maybe He is using this time of waiting to equip and prepare you for something. In fact, I really like what she writes. Rebecca writes, the life of the believer hangs in the balance between the now and the not yet. We can know the call of God on our lives and feel anxious to get to it. But God sometimes calls us to wait as He refines us, as He shows Himself to be our Redeemer, Rescuer, and Healer. We must confess that His timing is best and trust and declare that the waiting will bring us into a place of readiness. And that really hit me because in many of the situations that I'm walking through right now. And in some of those valleys, I very much feel the element of not being in control, the element of, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what to do. Being brought to an awareness that I need a redeemer, a rescuer, and a healer. And right now, today, as I'm sharing with you, my heart is tender. My heart is hurting. And the waiting is hard. I want to know the why right now. I want to know what the plan is. I want to know what the end result is. But that's so difficult. And in my notes for the day, I wrote a phrase that often comes to my mind as I pray about these things to the Lord. And it's this phrase of rest in the waiting. What does that look like to be able to rest in the waiting? When you don't know the answers and you don't know where this is going and you don't know what the outcome will be. Takes me right back to the verse that she shared at the beginning of this devotional. It says, what do you do in the waiting? You seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added to you as well. Maybe not in the way that I would hope or expect or plan. But I thought I had this practice of, I love the devotional, but I want to read the verses in the context that they were written. So I opened my Bible, Matthew 6. All right, here we go. I read the verse, and there's just one more verse after it. Here's what it is. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. It's the same verse that was on my mind this morning as I was reminiscing about the conversation that I had with my son. And I sat there holding my Bible, staring at the words, thinking, okay, so you know, and you see, and I want to follow that. I don't want to be anxious, but it's so hard to practice. The day got started here, and it's almost as if today has been, it's just been hard for all of us. Today's just been one of those days where the kids aren't getting along. It just feels like every little thing that could go wrong is going wrong. My phone's been blowing up. Different situations coming at different angles all at once. And about, this is TMI, sorry, but if you're hearing the mess, you're going to get to hear it sometimes. About the 5th time that I ran to the bathroom with an upset stomach, I thought, okay, obviously, Lord, I'm not doing very well with the whole don't be anxious thing, because I'm like physically sick over everything. I'm really thankful that God gives us people to walk through life with. And God gave me a really special friend. So she was texting me, and one really great thing about this friend is that she's very sensitive to being able to discern when I'm probably not doing very well. And she and I were texting, and she was able to pick up pretty quickly on the fact that probably struggling a bit today, a lot today. And she expressed concern about that, and she said, I don't really know what to do right now though to help. And I said, well, prayer is best. And I mean that. It is. Prayer is the best thing for me to do. And prayer is the best thing that I could ask for others to do. And she's somebody that I know will pray. I really should have grabbed a Kleenex. But then, one really good thing about having someone in your life that will keep you accountable with those kinds of questions, like, are you okay, or how are you doing, is that, at least for me, it kind of forces me to come to this place of action. Like, all right, I'm acknowledging that I'm struggling today. All right, I'm acknowledging that I'm really, really struggling to practice what Jesus said and not be anxious. I'm struggling with seeking him first right now because I feel like I'm suffocating in the pressure of everything else that's coming. But what am I going to do? I'm calling out to the Lord. He's already shown me that he's here in this place. He did that first thing this morning as I was seeking him through spending time with him. He has shown his goodness and his presence through good friends who are able to discern when they need to ask hard questions. I told my friend, I said, here's what I need to do today. Here's the plan. We are past lunch. I have one more thing to do with one more child for school. There are some other things that I wanted to do today, but that stuff's going off the schedule today. Because I recognize, as we talked, I said I recognize that I need to take some time for some self-care. I need to spend some time in the doctor's office. I need to fill my mind and my heart with what is true. I was thinking about the verse that says, be still and know that I am God. And it's so precious to me. So someone that I have come to just dearly love, and someone who has been such a gift and blessing through her love, sent me an unexpected gift in the mail a few days ago. And it's this necklace, and on it says, be still, because she knows that I'm in a season where there are some things that I want to carry but can't, and I need to be still. And so I was literally wearing this necklace today as that verse came to mind, be still and know that I am God. And today, God has given me the luxury of being able to say, I need to be still, but I know that there are some things I need to do in order to get to that place. So I told my friend that I had been texting, I said, I'm going to pull out my watercolors. If you're watching on YouTube, they're behind me on the shelf. I said, I'm going to pull out my watercolors. This is something that I've come to discover, watercoloring. This is something that I'm coming to enjoy. Honestly, I had no idea. This is my lack of education when it comes to art. I'm not artistic. I draw stick people. I thought watercolor was something that preschoolers did because that's the only time I saw watercolors. I didn't know that there's a whole amazing medium with watercolors, and it's something that I've been learning about over the last year, and something that I have just been picking up, and I've discovered that when I get out the paint and the water, it forces me to be still, and it brings me to this quiet place, not just externally, but internally. And so I said that would be a really good thing for me to do today. And I haven't done it for quite a while. So I'm going to do that. And then maybe, just maybe, I'll sit down at the piano today. I'm trying to teach myself piano. I don't know if I've shared about this here. I took lessons when I was young. And now I'm trying to teach myself. And I have found that, again, it is something that forces me to be still. It's something that just puts me in a different headspace. And the reason that I want to bring all this up is sometimes we need to first, in order to be still in our mind and in our heart, and in order to seek him with more intentionality and with more clarity, we need to bring our bodies to a place of stillness. And my question to you is, what does that look like for you? Do you know? When you're having days like I'm having today, where you just feel overwhelmed and burdened and fill in the blank, what is your plan of action? And I think it all kind of comes together. Being still and knowing that he is God, seeking him, and then being able to better practice what Jesus taught, and that is to not worry about tomorrow. Be in the right now. Be in the right now. And so the right now for me this afternoon is going to look like me ending this recording, putting away the technology, turning off the phone, probably turning on an audiobook or something for the boys, or who knows, they might feel like doing the art with me today. I'm not sure, but either way, it's going to look like filling up my jar of water, pulling out some brushes, paint, and paper, and forcing myself to just be still. Because the other things that were on the schedule today, they are not the priority right now. My heart and my mind before the Lord are in desperate need of Him, in desperate need of His rescue. And part of me reaching out to Him is forcing a stop and saying, help me just to be still. And it's nice because it's first making myself physically still. And for me, it comes in this way today. Because when I have the physical stillness, then I can better come to a place of mental and emotional, spiritual stillness before the Lord. And so that's where I'm at today. It's been a hard day. It's been a day where I'm just very much aware that I need Him. I do want to follow Him. I do want to seek Him first. I do want to practice His teaching, and I want very much to be freed from the things that are weighing me down today. And I don't have any expectation that by the end of this day, things are going to be wonderful. The situations and the valleys that I'm walking through right now will still be there. But I hope that at the end of this day, the difference is that I'm better realizing that even when I walk through the valley, He is with me. I don't know, friend, what you're going through right now. I relate, though, with valleys. I relate with hard times. Valleys can look very different, but the heart of it's the same. Valleys are scary because they're dark, and when it's dark, we feel alone. And I hope that with what I shared today, you're reminded that we are not alone. He is with us in the valley. And I would challenge you with just the same thing that I'm challenging myself with. If you're in that space of being burdened and overwhelmed and anxious, and you're struggling with putting into practice not worrying, then what is that thing for you that will first physically bring you to a place of stillness? And whatever that thing is, make it a priority. Make it a priority as soon as you can. I know sometimes we don't have the luxury of being able to say, all right, I'm scratching everything off the calendar to do this. Even if you can't do that in this moment, make it a priority as soon as possible. This thing is going to happen for you, because that thing could be exactly what you need to help you be still, so that you can better seek God, so that you can better just rest in knowing who He is, so that you can redirect your mind and your heart and your trust in Him, the one that is always with us. It's so funny how I started this day telling Eric that there was no way I was going to record today. I kind of wonder if God laughed. But I am praying that you're joining me in this place, remembering that when we are willing to admit we need Him, like I so desperately need Him today, that's when we start making our stories about Him, because we get to point our hearts and others to Christ, who is our everything, the one who's with us in the valleys. I hope you have a really good rest of your day. I'm going to turn this stuff off. I'm going to go do some watercoloring and spend some time with the Lord. If I can pray for you, feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. And love you guys. Thanks for being here for another chat with Ash.